Okay. Welcome to Footy Thoughts with Joey, and this is
Casey.
Casey. It's Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Pretty good week for us last week. We both hit our lock. We went 2-0. I had Brentford team total over 1.5 that hit in the first half, and I'll let Casey explain or talk about his lock.
Right to Everton +1. Some people on the talk thought it was a dog shit pick.
Yeah.
Had to throw that in there. Really liked how we played with Sean Dyke. It was a risk. It was a risky pick for sure. But manager bounce is real. Apparently, Leeds just scored 2 in the first half at Old Trafford. So +1 home dogs, guys. That is a soccer system bet that's really fun and it works. I mean, 1 goal margins in soccer, especially at the highest tier, are extremely common. So you even get a little insurance with it too, just in case. But that was a really fun game. I mean, we looked like a totally different team. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is now out
Yeah.
for our next game. He is made of glass now. It's really sad. Um, but I think I'm just gonna watch without taking any bets on this Merseyside derby coming up. So we'll see how
So
that goes.
I
Yeah.
don't know how they are recently. Well, first, if it's not obvious, Casey is an Everton fan, and then I am a Tottenham fan. And so throughout these episodes, we will cover each of those games as well as big marquee matchups each game week. But back to that Everton Liverpool, like I have the story of when I was in Vegas and I woke up bright and early to lay $100 on the under last whenever
Jeez.
they played, and then I went back to bed because we were up all night, and I woke up to a 0-0. Like on the last
Hell
day we were
yeah.
leaving, it's like on their way out, checking out everything. I like went to the sports book, got my, 100. I'm pretty sure it was like +100, so it was $100 to win 100, and then I flew back home. But with all that, we'll any other takeaway besides how y'all played and how Leeds played? Anything that surprised you this weekend?
Newcastle is getting a wake up call a little bit. Bruno G is absolutely crucial to that squad. It's from an FPL perspective as well as from a betting perspective. Newcastle is interesting right now. Typically to fade them. We'll get more into that later, but that's something I noticed. This game was an absolute atrocity.
Wolves Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, unlucky for Liverpool. This game was super fun. Tottenham City, I mean, lock it down with Conte talking from the hospital. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Forest Leeds
Some
was really
some
fun.
something came out that Ryan Mason and then Stellini, the interim coach while Conte's out, said like obviously Conte gave the game plan, but like right before the game they decided to like have Eric Dyer more man mark Bernardo Silva because I don't know exactly what the lineup said, but basically Bernardo Silva kind of played that KDB role. I mean, Alvarez played off of Holland, but Bernardo Silva was the one dropping in between lines. So
Yeah.
um, it was an absolute masterclass from Stellini, who I believe is 2-0 for us. But with all that, I'll quickly say it's kind of the same thing with Bruno G with Newcastle. You're definitely seeing that with Casemiro and United, which was the case even before United signed him, was that they were missing someone in the midfield. So
Yep.
we'll move on to the
Yep.
first game. It'll be the 6:30 kickoff, the very first game of the week with West Ham versus Chelsea. Spoiler: my lock is in this game, so I will go ahead and start. I I don't know if it's emotional because I'm not a Chelsea fan, but West Ham are like they're fighting relegation and they're getting some results and some draws here as of late. But like, I mean, I don't know where to start. Like, and you can see on the screen, Fofana's back in training, Conte's back in training, Kovacic back in training, Reece James already played, Chilwell is back and he was made the bench. Even Zachariah is back. I mean, Pulley's back, but he's not going to make the 11 whenever he gets back. You got João Felix finishing his suspension from the red card. You've got
So he's
Modric.
out for this game for sure, right?
Yeah, who? Felix?
João Felix, yeah.
No, this is his last game. I don't know. This is his first game back
Oh,
from.
really?
Yes.
That's quite interesting.
So,
Okay.
and it's tough because what we talked about last episode too, and it's a very common theme if you like follow Premier League. Is like that. This early kickoff slot is always so weird. It's a
Yeah.
weird time to play. Usually low scoring games, but I'll go ahead and say it. My lock is it's another team total like last week, but I like their team total over 1.5. I think it's a little bit more juice than the money line. I think it's plus 132. It's Chelsea are just what they're lacking is actually finishing. They have the XG behind that, whether you believe it or not. They're getting the chances, they're getting the shots. Like they are going to mesh soon. And I think
Yeah.
even with Modric being subbed off at halftime last game, they've got this full week to, with Graham Potter, all these players coming back. I can only assume the team chemistry is going up. Again, maybe an emotional play, even though I'm not a fan, but I think this is a big game for Chelsea, and I think they at least get a point. So I don't know if it's going to be 2-2, but I think they have a good chance of winning this game. And it's a derby
I'm
as well.
I very much agree. I think Chelsea's in kind of a gray area period right now. I mean, they've signed so many new players. They've got so many injuries. So they're obviously a team's chemistry really gets hurt by that. New coach too. I mean, they're definitely in a gray area. They have all the talent in the world. I agree with you. I think this can be the start of some of us seeing kind of a chemistry mold together with Chelsea. They have great attackers coming back. Reece James just needs a couple of games to get back and hit the ground running. They've signed some great defenders as well. Jorginho gone is interesting because that's a huge loss for chemistry purposes only. Like all of these attackers on Chelsea, they knew how Jorginho played. They knew exactly where he wanted to pass it, how he was going to pass it, when he wanted to pass it, all of those things. And now they have different attackers, different midfield, a couple different defenders. Some are back from long-term injuries. I mean, it's going to take some time for this team to mold together a little bit, but I am 100% with you. I think we can see sparks or at least flashes of maybe this chemistry starting to build up with Chelsea. Yeah, I like it.
I agree. Well, obviously, I agree. It's my lock. But with that, we'll move on to the next game. And this will be, again, a game for me to talk about. And obviously, Casey, but it's the Tottenham Leicester game. Like I said earlier, we always go over kind of the team we support. This one will be the 9 o'clock slot. And I don't know why I'm talking. If you can scroll and like find the head to head. Yeah, there it is.
That's, yeah.
Head-to-head.
Oh, wait, no, that's form.
It's right. Wait, next one down. So
Hello.
clearly a lot of goals.
Jeez.
There's always a lot of fun, and it goes back down to like 2017. There's always goals.
Yeah.
Random spam call and I just slid my screen away. Anyways, Tottenham. And of course we're catching Leicester with Madison back and this Tete guy they just signed. They just put up 4 goals against Aston Villa, but we should, as we do, take care of business against this team. It's not necessarily a rivalry because when Leicester won the league, we were in second place, but there definitely is some drama there because Kane. This is one of the teams that Kane has the highest goal scoring record against. I think he's played 15 games against them.
I think Vardy has a big chunk of goals against Tottenham too.
Yeah. I think it's like 18 goals in like 13, 14 games against them, but we should expect a high scoring game. 2 things. Reece with the knee injury, he's out for about 6 weeks. So we have Forster coming in who has Premier League experience. And as you can tell, it's not like it was always a defensive masterclass in these matchups. And then we also have Romero serving a 1-game suspension as well. Maybe we see Pedro Porro. Competition brought out the best of Emerson Royale against City. I would love to see Porro, but I wouldn't mind seeing Emerson again. And then hopefully Son kind of picks off where he left off in the FA Cup. And it may have been his last Premier League goal, but he had a hat trick in 19 minutes, I believe, when we played them.
Oh, yeah.
The year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a really fun game. Leicester home games in recent years have been very fun, especially when they're going up against teams that love to play on the counter, play fast football. That's Tottenham. That's Conte's bread and butter. I love that Son that Son scored a couple of goals in the cup. I love the form that Harry Kane's in. And also for my lock of the week, we've got over 2.5 goals in this game. I think both teams are going to score. James Madison is back for Leicester, which is huge. They netted 4 against Aston Villa last week. I love that Tottenham has some defenders and their goalie out. All of these reasons, and of course, this is an expected bet. This isn't some fade the public type of methodology
sneaky
with
under.
this one.
Yeah,
A sneaky under, something like that. No, this is there is expected to be goals, and I am betting for there to be goals. So that's my lock of the week. I think this is going to be a really fun game. It's going to be an aggressive game, lots of fouls. We could probably, I bet we'll see a penalty too, going either way. Don't know which one. But yeah, I think I'll be tuning into this one for sure because this is going to be a fast paced, high energy game.
It's going to be a great game for Goal Rush.
Yeah,
I mean, there's like 5 9 a.m. games, and like we'll probably see this game. And this is just like, I'm sure Casey, you might be having the same feeling, but this is like, oh my gosh, Leicester Tottenham, like so many goals in the last 4 games, like it's going to be crazy. And then in 0-0, like there's always
1-0 with a Kane goal in the,
or it's like some gross like OG from like a midfielder.
Yeah,
like it's something,
yeah.
So we're not going to manifest that. We're not going to talk about it, but it wouldn't be. It would be lying if it wasn't a thought.
This is the biggest part that I really love the over for.
Madison is going to destroy even Harvey Barnes, who's going to be over there. They're going to overload that side and just attack. Okay, and then so we will move on to the Liverpool Everton game. So we can get Casey talking about his toffees off a big win.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a better time for you guys to get Liverpool. It really couldn't. Or really, like,
that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of. Of course, we talk about
go to the head-to-head. See what it's saying.
Unders. I mean, unders usually, except for this one off, but and this one off, and this one off, and this one. Anyways, no, it's
look. There's my 0-0. June. There's my 0-0 that I did.
Hell yeah.
No. In 2020. Or no. Keeps going down actually. There it is. March 3rd. Yeah.
Nice bet. I'm just going to comment on how we played against Arsenal. I mean, completely revamped. Abdoulaye Doucouré is back in the squad. Frank had something against him. We don't really know too much in depth what went on there, but he was pretty much bailed on. And Sean Dyche was like, F that, Frank. That was the wrong decision. Brought him right back into the starting lineup, and he absolutely shined. He was great. Onana is my favorite player in an Everton shirt.
That was hype seeing him say like I'm back, like, or I'm not leaving. That was so hype.
I think possibly one of my favorite Everton players of all time, Stephen A. Smith. I'm sorry. Stephen Pienaar.
Not Stephen A. Smith. You talking about from First Take Stephen A. Smith, or who are you thinking about?
No, from ages ago.
Is his name Stephen Naismith? I think it said Stephen A. Smith.
Oh.
Naismith. Okay.
Stephen Pienaar as well. He was one of my favorites back in the days. Aiden McGeady, of course. Got an Aiden McGeady jersey when he signed. Did a McGeady spin in my soccer game that weekend. Anyways, yeah, I'm hyped. I'm very cautious about what's going on considering our situation, but I mean, I like it. I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far in that Arsenal game. I mean, we dominated that game. So many chances on the attack, which was unexpected. I thought it was just going to be a slow game, but no, we went after them, and they struggled to create chances. Really struggled. So hopefully we can take that into this game. I think this Liverpool game is going to look a lot different. I would not bet an under here. Absolutely not. I can see this being a game where a lot of the Liverpool attackers come back into form. I can see this being a game where we concede a lot, but also we get our chances again, just like we did with Arsenal. I don't see this being another 0-0 like it can be pretty common in Merseyside derbies. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. Liverpool is in absolutely trash form, but they got a lot of good players coming back. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on them from a fantasy perspective. I currently have Trent in my squad, which I guess I'll just keep him since they have a double in 25 now. But
and they more importantly, they play in 25 as well.
Right.
With all the blanks.
Yeah. So I'm very optimistic about this game. I think it's gonna be fun again. We'll have to see.
It's interesting to see that head to head. They have 13, or Liverpool's won 13 times, but there's been 13 draws.
Yeah.
So I think as of right now, Liverpool are they're favored by a goal. They're -1 at home. So it is a derby, so maybe there is some value in the +1 with Everton. They're obviously not traveling far to this game, and there's a bunch of history behind it, but something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And now we'll move to the marquee matchup. I think we're going to have differing takes on this. It's the City versus Arsenal game. So this won't be during the weekend, but it'll be Wednesday, the only game on that day, I believe. So City and Arsenal, obviously first and second place in the table. City just beat Arsenal 1-0 in the FA Cup.
One of the biggest games of the year right here.
And the next one's going to be, I think, in like 2 weeks, where it's going to be at the Etihad or Etihad, whatever it's pronounced. But Casey mentioned last episode that he's on the train of Arsenal is going to win the league. I had mentioned I'm not there yet because I had mentioned City and Arsenal still have to play each other twice in the league, but I don't know. I'm still leaning City. I can't lie. The rotation of Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden and Pep playing the lineups and doing what he does to back himself as the best manager. Like, this is what he did 5 years ago when he started playing certain players that, like, why are they playing? He trusted in Pep. He has the resume to back it up. But if I were to look at this game and I'm looking at the lineups and Kevin De Bruyne is not playing, I would be very nervous. With that being said, I still think City, maybe they don't win, but I do not think Arsenal wins.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight.
I could see a draw as most likely.
I don't think either team will run away with anything. I don't think that's in the books. I think City need 3 points here if they're going to be viable and go forward with confidence in winning the league. But I mean, Arsenal have some players coming back. Despite this loss against Everton, I don't think Arsenal's going to slow down, guys. This isn't like, oh, Arsenal's on the down and down. I don't think it's like that, especially with Jesus coming back. I mean, they're still going to be electric. They always will be. This whole season, they've got a great squad and great chemistry. So this will be a tight game. This will be a really, really tight game. Neither team's going to want to give up goals. That's going to be the main priority. I could see it being a really slow, methodical game. But last time I said that, I think the game ended 4-2. Can't remember which game it was, but it should be a fun one. One of the biggest games of the year, considering how the table game script has gone. Yeah.
I fully expect and it could be because I have him in fantasy, but I saw a tweet that, like, because KDB was benched the first time we played City, Tottenham played City, and then he was benched again for the matchup that they lost, but he was subbed on for Mahrez in the 60th minute. He was basically saying that KDB thrives against the kind of 4 at the back, and not that he's a waste on the field when they're playing 3 at the back, but it's not as, which doesn't make sense, that KDB doesn't have a style of play that doesn't kind of gel against any formation. But again, in Pep, we trust, besides this Tottenham game where they just can't score at our stadium. But all that being said, I expect City to smack Aston Villa at home on the weekend, and then I expect them to at least get a point from this game as well on Wednesday. I don't think they're done. I don't think City's reign of terror is over. Sure, they don't have nearly as full of a squad as they did in the past seasons. I keep talking shit on Rico Lewis. I like him, but an 18-year-old starting at left back, at right back, wherever Pep puts him, and then
center mid, pretty much.
Yeah, but he's still in that starting formation, and then Ruben Diaz hasn't gotten his spot back in the squad. This may be his first game back, so it's the biggest game of the season.
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun one to watch. I should have taken off work, or at least I'll probably watch it on the side so I can fully watch this game. I wouldn't want to miss a minute of it.
Yeah, good one.
Okay, let's move on to our locks real quick before we wrap it up. Like we mentioned earlier, I hit Brentford last week, our last game week. Casey hit Everton. And then this is just for the TikTok purpose. If I could get you just to say your lock in just like
Mm-hmm.
2 sentences, and then I'll give you
Mm-hmm.
mine.
Okay. My lock of the weekend, we are going over 2.5 goals in Leicester at home to Spurs. Lots of injuries in the back line for Spurs. Lots of James Madison back for Leicester. Fun game. It's going to be back and forth. Son in form, Kane in form. Hoping for the best. I think both of the teams score, and I think there's going to be goals.
Nice. Okay. And then mine will be Chelsea team total over 1.5. As mentioned earlier, just a lot of players, not only returning from injury, but just in general that Chelsea brought in. I think their time will come soon where they finally gel. Last week, they had a really good game against Fulham in terms of chances created. I think, especially in this kind of, it's a derby, but not really. Like, you're never looking at Chelsea West Ham as a big game. But I expect kind of them to get going, especially with João Felix coming back from suspension. So
Good
those will
luck.
be our two locks. Hopefully they go well. Um, I like that they're both on Saturday. I almost texted you to say, hey, let's try and keep our locks on the same day. So like if one hits, we don't have to like wait, 24, 48 hours whenever the next game is played to see how it goes. So
Yeah.
all right, that was our game week 23 review. Can't think of anything else we need to cover besides.
No, we're
Oh
good.
yeah, we're not going to tell our 10 to 20 viewers to go support Leeds. By the way, just because they're American players, we will not be doing that. Go pick a team that's in the top 10 right now that has some potential. Don't choose Fulham.
Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton's great. Don't choose Fulham. And Tim Ream's there and Anthony Robinson, but they're just having a nice little high of the season.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the episode. Thank you for listening. Subscribe.